Welcome to the Finartech podcast, where finance, art, and technology converge. We're your hosts, Yolanda and Sarad.
I got drip and I got soul, so I got drip, so they gotta feel me before I go out or I fleet. The mama north, it cool, ain't got no fleece. Tryna rule the world out.
Hello, everyone. My name is Yolanda Rush of Y Rush Technology Group, and welcome to our podcast, the Finartech podcast. I'm here with my co-host, Sarad Davenport.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Finartech podcast. Again, my name is Sarad Davenport, and I'm so excited about this show today. Got one of my childhood friends, childhood homies coming on to talk about technology, right? So when we break down that Finartech right there, it says Finartech, and we're about to go deep into technology with somebody who's been doing it from way back in the day, and I'm looking forward to the conversation. So without further ado, I'm gonna introduce my good friend, my friend in tech, Okiima Pickett Trotter. So everybody give it up for my friend Okiima Pickett Trotter. Yeah.
Hello. Good morning.
Yeah. Thanks for being on, Okiima. We're not gonna take a whole lot of time. We're gonna just jump right in. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
So I am a wife, a mom, daughter. I am an athlete. I got a cold, so I sound awful. So I try to also I do some gardening too. I guess that's me in a nutshell.
Okay.
But I do work in cybersecurity, cloud security. I have about going on to 20 years in the field.
Nice. Very nice. So with the cybersecurity piece, is that like AWS? Is that Azure? Is that?
It is IBM.
Okay.
Yes. So we have our own cloud. I do have experience with AWS doing some other stuff throughout my career. But where I am right now is doing supporting IBM Cloud.
Wonderful. So that's interesting. IBM, they have their own cloud, I guess, because they're big enough to have their own cloud and not have to outsource to AWS, Azure, and those other sources. So let me ask you, Okiima, what was your track? How did you get into tech, or why did you get into tech? Like what prompted you to do that 20 years ago?
Well, my journey started well before 20 years ago. I remember sitting in my bedroom, probably like 5 years old, playing with this little robot, and I just like broke the whole thing to pieces. And then I was like, I'm gonna try to figure this out and put it back together. Never got it put back together, but I remember being so intrigued about the wiring and all that.
Yeah.
And fast forward to my college days or pre-college days. That movie, I don't know if y'all remember the movie Shrek. When that movie Shrek came out,
Yep.
I was very interested in doing computer animation in college. And so when I went to my college advisor, I told him, I was like, I want to do animation like this, make movies and stuff like this movie Shrek. And he was like, well, there's two routes you can take. You can either do the fine arts route where you draw the pictures, or you can go the computer science route where you're the brains behind bringing those pictures to life. And I was like, shoot, that's a no-brainer for me. I'm going computer science. And thank God that I did, because it got me to where I am today. Now, so my undergrad is in, I did a bachelor's of science in computer science and minor in computer engineering. But then when I first started working, I remember talking to my coworkers. There was like a lot of coding and stuff like that, which I hated. I like the problem solving side of it, but then when it came to like actually coding, I was like, what
right.
Yeah, I would get so frustrated. But then when I started working, my first job, it was with Lockheed Martin. I would talk to some of my coworkers, and one guy, he was an ethical hacker. I was like, dang, tell me some more about this. And I just was so passionate about that, you know, cybersecurity side. At the time, it was called information assurance. And then like that following semester, I began, you know, pursuing my master's degree in information assurance. And I lucked up with a job. I landed a job in cybersecurity before I graduated. So that's the path I've been in for the last 18 years.
Well, hold on. You did a lot real fast. Like, put that joint in the microwave.
It's my elevator pitch.
No, and I love it. And I'm sitting here like so excited, and just everything you said, I'm just excited about it, but I'm containing myself.
Yeah, like I want to unpack some of that because we were in undergrad together. We did undergrad.
Yeah.
And like I know y'all computer science majors was looking stressed a lot.
Man.
So talk to us about like, you know, your undergraduate experience as a computer science major. And you had other stuff going on too. And you know, you go deep as you want into that.
Okay. So let's rewind, right? So my
let's unpack. Sorry.
Yes. So computer science was extremely stressful. But on top of all that, I was also a single mom. So I had my son my first semester in college. I had him at 18. And I, as a Black girl, Black woman in this world, I refused to be another statistic. So I was like, okay, you know, I can, you know, stay here and, you know, just like live in my mom's house and do nothing. Or I can, you know, pursue my dreams and go off to college and play soccer and do all this other stuff that I, you know, my childhood dreams, I can fulfill those. And then my son became that driving force behind that. Like, you know, it was just, he put the fire under my butt, so to speak. And like there were times when I had all-nighters. I would have my computer on one leg, my laptop on one leg, my son on the other leg. I put him to sleep with my CS 150 books, reading bedtime stories were code in 101. And then seriously, and it was like all-nighters when I had to go to the computer lab. A few of us would meet up. My brother, fortunately, I had my brother there and childhood friends. I remember calling Sarad like, "Oh my God, I don't know what to do. Can you come watch my son for me?"
That is
I don't know if you remember that, but
inspirational.
if it wasn't for my village, y'all, let me tell you, if it wasn't for my village.
Hey, but sometimes the babysitting hours is about you going and like, you know, you needed a little free time too, you know.
Yeah, I did.
But
hey,
yeah,
so I was in college. I had to live like a college student, you know, live college life.
Go into that computer science a little bit though. Like, why was it so stressful?
So it was stressful because we would get an assignment, and it was Greek to me. Like I didn't come from a background where I was all like, I didn't grow up in a computer science family where I had people just writing code all day, like, and I am not a nerd, you know. I don't whatever. So to me, it was like, no, y'all geeky people, y'all stay over there. But meanwhile, I'm like,
right, exactly. At heart, doing what really made you happy.
Yes, yeah. But I mean, it was hard. It was hard just trying to interpret what it was that they were talking about, like what it was we had to do. You had to understand first. You had to understand the problem. Like, okay, what is this even talking about? And then break it down. Like, okay, well then, if this is what it's talking about, basically all of programming is if-then problems. Like if then this.
Else.
Yeah. Yeah. So. I mean, it was just a lot of trying to figure it out. And I ain't gonna lie, I had some good friends, so I might have cooked the pork chop here and there for some assist.
Let me ask you, Okiima, because I know, like when you started, like you said, you didn't come up in a family where we were raised to like be interested in technology, and we just had exposure to that. It's like if you find a way in, you sort of kind of take that route. So my question to you is, how did you do with mentorship? Did you have a mentor that just sort of kind of guided you along the way, a personal mentor or someone from school that just sort of kind of gave you pointers and guided you along the way?
I did not. I mean,
Wow.
fortunately, I had a lot of I mean, I owe a lot to my Lockheed. I call it the Lockheed crew. So when I first started working, that core, it was like probably over 100 recent graduates, Black recent graduates, and we're all sitting in this. We call it the tank at Lockheed, waiting to get our security clearance. And because we didn't have our security clearance, we couldn't really do any work.
Wait a second. So what location were you at for Lockheed?
In Maryland.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was like all the offices in the area, the DMV, we would, kind of come together for like, we would go to White House field trips and stuff like that. But we would brainstorm, just sit and talk. And like I said, with the one guy, he was doing ethical hacking. So we would all kind of just talk about our past, our journey that we took to get here, the universities that we went to. And I didn't go to an HBCU, but a lot of the people there did. So, they talked about those experiences. And along the way, once we got our clearances, whatever, then we were able to go out into the workforce and start working. But we all stayed in touch. We all stayed connected. And to this day, I'm still friends with everyone there. And it's not necessarily mentors, but it's a core group of strong people in the tech industry. And you mentioned mentor. I did end up getting a mentor, an older guy from the tank Lockheed office. But the funny thing is, I happened to get him a job in the Maryland agency. So instead of the mentor looking out for me in my career,
Right,
other way around. So it's that Lockheed. I'm telling you, it's all about who you know, but what you know also.
No, that sounds amazing, because I can tell you had a strong support system.
Mm-hmm.
You had people you could tap into. You had people telling you, keep going. And it was a group of people that looked like you. So that alone is top notch.
So y'all had like a cohort, and like, don't be shading ODU. ODU is HBCU light.
Get that one little group of five.
Yeah, diet.
Me, Sarad, and three others. So no.
Exactly. That sounds about right. No, really. That's why I was asking you.
We were a little deep.
Yeah. That sounds like, which office of Lockheed did you work in? Like, were you out in Virginia with that? But once you say it on the Maryland side, that made sense.
Mission Systems. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I got a question for you. So let's talk a little bit about like being in the industry, at whatever liberty you're willing to talk, and being a Black woman in the tech industry. Like, what are some of the obstacles that you may have had to overcome, kind of in the workplace and things like that? So like whatever liberty you're willing to talk about those things, I want to understand. I want to unpack that a little bit.
So let's see, some obstacles. It's been hard. Let me tell you that. So what started my career, what started my career is some adversity that I had to go through. So when I graduated from college, I moved down to Atlanta. That's where I always wanted to be. Atlanta was the place to be back then, back in 2003. Yeah. But when I went down there, I didn't have a plan. I just went down. My mom was paying my rent, or my parents were paying my rent, whatever. And I was looking for a job. And I remember interviewing with this tech company. I forgot the name of it, but I had the phone interview. That was like great. I nailed that. And it was so good. They wanted me to come on. They did a follow-up interview over the phone. That was great. Nailed it. Boom. They wanted me to come in, call me up, wanted me to come on site to interview. So I went in there all dressed up, dressed impressed, ready to nail this thing, see my offer and stuff. I think all they wanted to do was see what color I was, because they couldn't tell by my name. And I did not, it was like, listen, I was speaking about technology that they didn't even know of. So there's no reason whatsoever that I should not have gotten an offer from that company. But I'm so glad they carried me like that, because it got me to where I am today. but that was the first time I faced adversity in this tech field as a Black woman. So then fast forward, I remember I wasn't just a Black woman in tech. I was young, like right out of college. So when I went to
sorry to interrupt, and a mom.
Yes.
So they judge you based on that, like your marital status.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So fast forward a couple years, my other, I don't want to go into too much detail, but this other position I was in, it was me and this other girl. She was Caucasian, and both of us were the same age, and we had little boys that were the same age, right? So we would, our schedule was built around dropping the kids off at daycare and coming in. Well, we went through so much backlash through the trying to figure out the best way to say this without putting people on blast. But oh my God, it was just like they try to make it so painful for us, like so that it almost like it wouldn't work, right? Like, okay, you know the daycare doesn't open up until whatever time, so why would you have a meeting before we can drop the kids? It was stuff like that. And then it got to the point where it was like they were aggressive with us. They were, man, it was awful. It was like I could have $1 million lawsuit. That's why I'm not even going to call people out, because I'm still in the field.
And I'm sure you could. I believe that. I know. And you're just like, you know what? Why won't I sue these people? But you don't want to roll like that.
Yeah.
I know.
I just left that situation. I mean, it was like the girl, she got grabbed. Like they were like, get back down to the lab, do some work. Yes. And it was like just that kind of, you don't talk to me like that. Like what? But then you want me to train the whole office how to, come on now.
Yeah, I'm from the Wisher Negro Woods.
Right.
Yeah, I used to live out there. So
let me put him
hands on me if you want to.
Right. Well, and then let's see. So okay, and then I went to IBM from there, and my client at the time was American Express, and so I'm doing like great things, security for these credit cards and stuff for American Express. Well, then I got a layoff notice, right? I'm doing great. My client is like so happy with everything I'm doing. So they fought back. They were like, "What you mean? You gonna lay her off?" Like, no, we need her she's doing great work for us.
Sure.
So they pulled that back and changed their mind, right? Well, then the following year they put me back on the layoff list. And mind you, the client is still ecstatic about the work that I'm doing. Like, how are you gonna lay me off? But I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. So it's you kind of start looking at things
exactly,
right?
Exactly,
right, because it's not about the money, because the client is still paying.
Exactly. And the client not only paying, they love the work that I'm doing for them. So
what's the problem?
Right. But I took that as a, although it was like a slap in the face, I used it to my advantage. I took my severance and got some certifications and went on about my merry little way.
What certifications?
I got my CEH, Certified Ethical Hacker certification, that I had been dreaming about since talking to that guy at Lockheed.
Nice.
What's that? Because some people are going to be like, I don't know what that is.
It basically gives me the credentials to perform pen testing. Pen testing is
what she does is she get all you spammers, all you hackers, all you people sending these daggone emails talking about I'm a Nigerian king and send me $1,000 and all this other nonsense. She can pinpoint you people.
Yeah. Or what I like to say is find all the holes in your system to keep them out. So rather than where a hacker would come in and say, oh, this is a hole in their system, let me go in and steal his credit card information. I see he left his credit card information on his notepad over here or something. I would let you know, like, this is a vulnerability in your system. This is what you need to do to fix it.
Right. So ethical hacker
side of it.
So like, all right, for all y'all thugs and gangsters out there, an ethical hacker is somebody who does a home invasion on you And then they come back and tell you, look, bro, if you don't want people to be able to break
Yes.
into your house, then this is what you need to do to prevent that. That's
yes.
translated for some other folks.
Yes. Your back door is open. And you know, here's your phone that was sitting on the table.
Exactly. Like with all these data breaches through these big companies that we use, Amazon, insurance companies, Facebook, stuff like that. Like these darn hackers can get in, steal your data, but our girl Okiima is the woman on the job that will then tap in so that the hacker doesn't then call one of these big companies and say, I'll release your data if you
ransomware.
2 million.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. There was one other issue I faced recently. So last year, so I went back to IBM, even though they laid me off. I went back only because, and this was tough for me. But I had a daughter in 2019, and I did not want to. Like, I went on maternity leave. I didn't want to go back into the skiff.
If you don't know what that is.
Yeah. Okay. So I didn't want to go on site and work in an office anymore. I wanted to be home with my daughter. So I went back to IBM, because, you know, that's where I figured, you know, they do a lot of remote working from home. So that's what I did. And I was with the security development team there. So they were doing a lot of development for the IBM cloud, getting that deployed all over the world and things like that. And here I am, like, you know, developers over here, security people over here, and you tend to bump heads a lot. So I was one of the only security person on this team of developers, and I'm pushing like, y'all, we need to secure this thing, we need to secure.
Right.
And my manager was like, look, you're a square peg trying to fit into a round hole.
Yeah. Exactly. Because you're fighting with these guys. You're fighting with these guys, trying to tell them, like, y'all are developers. We need to patch these things. I'm
also the only Black woman and Black woman on the team.
And so were they even listening to you and taking your advice and taking your suggestions? Exactly.
No. So what happened, that was a blessing in disguise, because the manager of the PMO office, the program management office, who tells that team what to do, she had reached out to me a few months before trying to get me to join her team. And I was like, no, I love it over here. I'm with developers. So then this happened. I was like, I'm available.
Right.
So that's where I am now. And I love it.
Yeah. So I think what I want to hear about is like the collaboration that happens in the tech industry. It sounds like you got the developer side, you got the security side. It's like people might not understand that you have to work together with a lot of people. Yes. Can you talk about like how that shows up in the tech industry? Because some people will be like, man, I ain't trying to do that, be stuck in no cubicle all day. Just look like you have to be a collaborative person, and talk about that.
Okay, so in this world, it's like having almost like having a football team without a quarterback. You know, you can wing it, but it's like it's not the best thing to do. You know, you're not going to go as far. But so developers, they write the code. You know, they can take a problem, develop a solution, and then they push the solution out to the general public. But then the problem is they didn't think about security. So then now you got this product that you released to the public that's not secure. So now, like, you go buy it, yeah, you're gonna get hacked and all the other stuff because security was never thought about. Mm-hmm. So what my passion is, what I like to do is what they call shift security left. So that means you move it to the beginning. So while developers are developing something, security is getting baked in. That security person is, in their head. The security features are in the code. Mm-hmm. The requirements are there from day one. So now they're like, it's baking security in, instead of bumping heads, you're just kind of meshing. And that way you have once you get to the end, you don't have to start over and like realized like, dang, we messed up. There's no way we can add security to this because it's already in there from the beginning.
I would imagine. I'm sorry to interrupt.
A lot of people do not do that.
Right. I'm really excited, but I would imagine that right now the security team is top tier because security, everything, if it's not secure, then you're setting up a whole organization to fail. So I would imagine that your job right now is top tier. And I love that you had the foresight 20 plus years ago to know that cybersecurity is the move. I love that because it wasn't that big back then.
Listen,
and now it's like everything.
I got the most random phone call like last week where this guy called me out of the blue and he was like, wow, your number's still the same. Is this Okiima? I was like, yeah. He said, I met you at a job fair years ago, probably almost 20 years ago, when I first went to IBM. I did some recruiting at a job fair. He said, he was like, that day you changed my whole life. You changed my whole trajectory. I can't even talk. And it's like, no, but basically he said that he left corporate America that day. He said, I was talking about cybersecurity before cybersecurity was even a thing. And I'm like, dang, like, what else did I say back then?
No, you're fire for that shit. I'm telling you, 20 years ago, that the fact that you had the foresight and the fact that you caught on
crazy, right?
What that guy was telling you about, I'm telling you, it's fire.
I guess he thought I was like, what's that lady's name? Psychic, something from back in the day, Miss Cleo or something. So
exactly.
He was calling me to find out where it's going from here on forward.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, I was like, wow, like he inspired me. I mean, he said he went and got his PhD after that in machine learning, and
wow,
I was like, wow, I did all that for you.
No, because you are fire. Like, it's a big deal. I'm telling you. And you're a Black woman and you're a nerd, but you're beautiful. No. Like, I'm just going to be real, because for you to even think that way, I know, mine too. No, but for you to even think that way, first of all, you're not just doing this to be doing it. You love this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't love it, there's no way to be successful. It gotta be in you. You can't just sit there all day and just plug away and not have like a feel for it. So
yeah, I love it.
I know you do. I can tell. Shout out to you for that.
So let's talk a little bit about everybody want to know about that bread. They want to know about the bag. And I ain't telling you to get personal, right? I'm telling you about, like, in general, like, what's your message to folks about? Because I'm always like telling people, like, tech is 0 to 60. If you get into it, like, you can change your lifestyle pretty quickly. If you love it like you do. So, like, as much as you're willing to share, like, talk about the type of bags that people getting out here and the type of lifestyles that people are able to live in the tech industry because of the work that they do.
Man, listen, the sky is the limit. Like, for real. The sky is the limit. And so I just read that by 2025, there will be 3.5 million unfilled cybersecurity positions. Now, the salary, all you got to do is go on like glassdoor.com, glassdoor.com. Put in cybersecurity specialist or cloud security engineer, one of those, and look at the salary. Even CISO, chief information security officer, look at the salary.
Woo!
Those are like, the salary goes up to like 400, 500, 600, like all the way up thousands. Yeah. Mock up.
I thought you was gonna say like 100.
No.
And listen, so I have a lot of cousins in my family, my son's age. So I've tried to get all of them to get into tech, of course, like follow behind my footsteps. So one of them, she recently got her degree in cybersecurity, and she called me about a month ago telling me she landed her first job, and she didn't talk to me before she negotiated that salary. But
Right.
so I was a little disappointed because she set her bar so low. She had no idea what her worth is. So the key is to know your worth. And if you go and like I'm telling you the worth right now, right? It's like up there. Now starting out, I would say maybe like between 60 to 80, maybe 90,000 starting out, depending on where you're located. But you stay there for a couple years, get some experience, and then go to the next one. But know your worth. Keep going up, keep going up, keep going up. And the sky is not only that, shoot, once you get that experience, start your own business and
Exactly.
run your own show.
Well, let me ask you this, Okiima, before we go on. So for people that may be interested in cybersecurity, hopefully we will get some young women, especially, but everyone and anyone that may be watching. What route would you tell them to take? Like, would you tell them to start out with like maybe AWS, like just sort of kind of start branching off into that? Where would you tell them to start?
No, so I always recommend that people stay broad. So I look at it like one big umbrella, right?
Okay.
So for me, computer science is my umbrella. There's so many different specific fields that I could have taken a major in, but that limits that restricts what you can do because you're limited.
Yeah.
So if you stay broad, like AWS is only specific for AWS. So if you want to learn cloud, take a class in cloud security, not specific to one company or one brand or anything like that. Cloud security, machine learning, that's really big. That's where it's at. Augmented reality, the metaverse, all that.
Are you talking AI with that? Yeah. Okay.
So augmented reality and AI are two different things. So augmented reality is where you can kind of like immerse yourself into this world.
Gotcha. Got it.
See, how if you go on Wayfair and get this, you're looking for some furniture, you can pop it in your living room and see how it looks. That's augmented reality. Yeah.
And so that differs from AI, artificial intelligence. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I'm deep in the AR and VR. So like Arrow is the Adobe AR, and like Apple is betting on AR, and Meta is betting on VR for about a year. I've been deep into that, and I think AR is the future because you're able to bring things brings into our reality, like mixed reality, into our reality, so that you can see it, you can learn it. It's going to change education, everything.
Yes.
So
on my sleeve on that one.
Yeah, let's get back to I'm sorry I interrupted. I just got hyped when I started hearing about AR and VR world.
Exactly.
But so what you were saying to answer,
I might have to tap your brain on some stuff. I didn't know you were okay.
Oh, let's get it. I'm with it. I be designing. I design worlds, concert venues, all that.
Yeah.
But Yolanda was getting at like kind of where to start, and what you were saying was start global in your thinking. Like don't specialize in like one application. You want to be able to work across applications.
Yeah, stay broad. Don't limit yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and then from doing that, if you find that you're passionate about one thing, then great. Can take another course in that. But starting out, stay broad because you never know. I mean, it's so much. Like even within that computer science umbrella, oh my God, like it's so much.
Well, again, shout out to you for being able to narrow down what you wanted to do so early on, because that is one of the big issues, because everything is so broad and there's so many different directions you can go in. Like the fact that you were able to narrow that down early on, that's crazy to me.
I thank God for that one. That was a lot of prayer.
Yeah.
Which way do I go, left or right?
Because a lot of people,
so many job offers I've turned down just because I didn't feel that it was right with where I wanted to go, or the people just didn't seem right.
So are you mentoring on any level?
So I do with IBM. I'm involved with their mentorship program. So once a week, I have different people that reach out to me, and I might spend maybe 30 minutes or so. People can circle back. I reach back out to see where they're going with their careers. They might be just starting out in their career. We have a college program, internship program over the summer. So I mentor people like that. And then, not to mention, I have like 8 little cousins that I and a son that I'm.
Right. So, in Charlottesville, there is a program called Computers for Kids. And what they do is they introduce inner city children to technology and just sort of kind of give them a broad view of what tech is about and how to get involved. It just sort of kind of gives an opportunity to put their hands on a bunch of different things. And I worked with the group for some years, and I always found that there would be young Black girls in that program from like middle school throughout high school, and they would just sort of kind of be just trying to find their way. So if ever you're looking to share the wealth, because you have a lot of knowledge and you have a really inspiring story, if ever you're looking to do some extra work, those young girls over there would love to talk with you, chat with you, pick your brain, and it's worth it. It's like, you're seeing yourself in a lot of these young ladies, and the fact that they're just interested is amazing to me.
What's it called?
It's called Computers for Kids. And a buddy of mine, Kayla Somerville, she runs the program. And yeah, they have a lot of resources over there, but I don't know that they have a lot of people that look like you and I. Yeah. And, a lot of the inner city children are minorities or Black. And I'll be real, whenever I lend myself to the program, I'm very specific as to where I want my resources to go. I always let them know I'm targeting the Black girls in the program. Please and thank you.
Okay. Yeah. I feel you on that.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is that, like, Finartech, we got the podcast, but we're also, considering like a convening or a conference. And, we're going to be reaching out to you again, because I think, you being a panelist or even a main stage speaker to talk about what you're doing would be cool too. And I'm gonna segue a little bit about, I want to understand like 2 things. Like, what do you do outside of like your job in tech? How do you, what do you do in your spare time? And then also, what's coming down the line? What you got popping? So what do you do? How you relax? What do you do? And
because we know you don't just get your nerd girl on all day or just be like a pretty face. And I know you're a mom and a wife and a professional, but you know what I'm saying? You got to be able to let your hair down a little bit.
So I like to say I'm an undercover nerd, but I'm really an athlete. Okay. But I mean, I've retired, but what I used to love to do is just go out and like crack heads on a football field to release stress. So yeah, I played running back and fullback. So that was a lot of
Talk about that league. What league is that again?
So it's the Women's Football Alliance, WFA. So my team is the DC Divas. We are the sister team to the Redskins. And every city that has an NFL team has a women's professional team. Just about every city that has an NFL team has a women's professional football team all across the United States. And we're growing the sport all across the world. So the plan is for it to be an Olympic sport in 2024.
Nice.
Yeah, but in order to do that, you have to have men and women playing both the same sport. So yeah, I had 12 years in the game. I just got inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Hey, good job.
Thank you. I had some injuries, but I had two championships, got a gold medal. Aside from football, I played soccer. I haven't really done much since I had my daughter, but my new thing now, I love gardening, going out into, I call it down on the farm. I've always wanted to be on a farm. So it's not a farm, it's just a raised bed garden that I built.
Cool.
Yeah.
You know, I know someone else in the area, in the DC area, and she also plays football. She's a systems architect, actually. And so actually she's one of my colleagues. But anyway, I don't know if you know her or not. Maneko
Oh
McMillan.
yeah. She's
Oh, small world. Look at that.
Very
Yes,
small world.
yeah, we work together.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And so I knew that she was involved in the football world, and I knew it was small enough that you guys have probably crossed paths. So
listen, there are not many female football players, and there are
Mhm.
not many Black women in tech. So to put those
Exactly.
together, yeah, we probably know everybody.
Exactly. So that's what's up. I'm gonna have to tell her I met you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you got popping? What's coming down the line for you that you want the people to know about?
So I am trying to build a space for myself. So I mentioned that when I had my daughter, I just decided that I did not want to go back into an office. I never want to go back into anyone's office.
Girl, don't. It's terrible. It's ratchet. It's awful.
This was before COVID. I mean, I can sit and like have my own coffee. I don't need you to interfere with me when I'm going to the break room or whatever. You know, we can Slack or something. That's on the side. But so what I want to do, the only way that I can, guarantee that is to build my own space. So I'm starting my own company. I've started a YouTube channel for my little ones. We have a YouTube channel called the Trotter Tribe because they are, my gosh, there's some characters. So I have that going on. But then with cybersecurity and my tech background, I'm in the process of starting a company. It's called 7 Solutions. Of course, my football number is 7.
Hey.
That means perfection and completion in the Bible. So my company is spelled SEVINN. So it's incorporating, you got the security in the front, you got development and innovation. So I've always wanted to be able to invent. I've invented some stuff, but I want to be able to invent it so that the man above me or the CEO doesn't get credit for my invention.
That's right. That's
yeah,
right.
And the only way that I can do that is for working for myself. So that's what I'm in the process of doing. And I want to also create a space. Like I've had in the process of doing this within the last year, I've had a couple great, amazing companies, matter of fact, come to me with different opportunities to come work for it's startups, right? A couple of startups wanted me to come work for them. And I'm like, if I come work for you, how can I help others? I'm trying to create this space, not just for me as I was, that single mom. There are other people in this world who also don't want to go into the office. And it's hard to not find a job where you are not forced to, you know what I mean? So I'm just trying to create this space. Right now, it's like a lot of jumbled thoughts and stuff in my head. So I still got to put my business plan and all that stuff together. But you mentioned the computers for kids. So something else that I'm trying to do, a lot of times you go into these mom and pop shops where you see the little kids, you might go into a Chinese restaurant, you see the little kid behind the counter. 7-Eleven, you see the little kid in there, working or whatever. So I'm trying to create a space for us, not just for us, but when I say for us, I mean like for moms, for parents, for people who have kids, people who have little ones, where it's like, you don't just go to work, but you're creating a space where your kids can also, submerge themselves into this environment with you and learn the ropes with you, just like you see in that Chinese store down the street. That's one thing I have yet to see in corporate America is that type of space where you said, the little Black girls can just jump on a call or, learn how to, write up some requirements. I don't see why that should be impossible. Like, why do you have to wait until after you get a college degree, or why do you have to wait until you're in your 20s to learn when we're looking at 3.5 million unfilled jobs. Like, why not?
It goes back to what you said in the beginning, and what you said was coming up, you didn't have any examples. Like that wasn't the world that you came from. So you didn't get that exposure until, like, I guess once you approached high school and college, where you could have a real support system, because our parents, they did whatever they did. And if it wasn't technology, then they couldn't really help us out with that. And besides, like, you're pretty and all, but you're a Black girl, and you know, no one was gonna just sort of kind of like pull you to the side and say, hey,
yeah,
I mean, opportunity.
My mom, she spent about 34 years teaching in Clark School in Charlottesville. And so I've seen, I spent many days sitting in her classroom, and I just feel like the times have changed so much. Like, why are we still doing that same type of go to school and sit in the classroom and write on the chalkboard or whatever, the whiteboard? Like, what?
Yeah, it's dumb.
Come on now. Come on.
Yeah.
So
I've
I've hired all my kids. So like my daughter, who's at ODU now, right? So she does website work for me. She started out doing my accounting work, so she would work with my accountant to like garage expenses. So she would do that, and then my other daughter mastered the Adobe suite. I was like, yo, I'm not even great at Adobe Illustrator. She mastered that joint and became an artist for hire. She was doing like those cartoons in the Illustrator. So she did that. And then my son, I just got my son on Code Academy. He's 14 and he crushing it. So I put him on the career path for a front-end engineer, and he got that certification by
that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. See? Yeah. Love it.
Like I like what you're saying. Like, it's not. First of all, I like what you said about how we're teaching. That is out. Like, I send my kids to school to just survive. Like, they learn at home.
Well, are they surviving in schools these days? That's I mean, we're on the fence right now about homeschooling versus, public or private school, and I'm leaning more towards creating this space right here at home. Well, mommy got this business going, but you can sit right here with mommy, and we're gonna create our own curriculum or whatever it is that we want to do in our safe space. And you're gonna get all the skills you need to fulfill one of these 3.5 million jobs.
Right. So that's what I'm thinking on that. I'm like, how this thing gonna work out. So I feel you. I think you're on to something there. I think you really.
We gotta talk offline though.
You on to something there.
Remember that brick wall conversation we had about? Oh, maybe we can wash cars one day.
Yeah.
We gonna talk.
All right, I'm with it. Yeah, Yolanda, no, I'm with it. Okay. Especially if we building something, I'm with it.
There's a whole world out there that has not been tapped into yet.
Well, any closing remarks from you, Okiima? What you want the people to know? What do you want to say to the people? And then, how can the people connect with you if they want to? Or do you want people to connect with you? Like, nah, you know what I mean? So like, what's your final argument or your final statement? And then how do the people connect with you if they want to learn from you?
They can find me on, well, let me say, so the final statement, let's see. My thing is that the sky is the limit, right? Don't let anyone stop you from reaching your goals. Set your sights high and do whatever you got to do to get there. If you need some help, reach out. You can find me on Instagram. I'm on Instagram at KIIMA7, number 7. We have a YouTube channel, The Trotter Tribe, TROTTER. That's for the little ones. And I don't know if I'm gonna give out my email address, but
I think Instagram is they know.
Send a message to Instagram, Okiima7. Yeah. I mean, like, I wouldn't mind email, but my email is like, I got the email from like way back in the day. It's just like flooded with stuff. So yeah, but I mean, if anybody has any questions about, what's new and where things are going in tech, reach out, let me know. I'm glad to I'd be glad to chat with anybody. Anybody needs a mentor, let me know.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I love it. I'm so glad we got an opportunity to meet.
7solutions.com.
7solutions.com coming your way. And that's
spelled
exactly. Wait a second. 7solutions.com. How is that spelled again?
SEVINN solutions with an S.com.
Good. I love it.
Yes.
I'm so glad you came on. This is dope. This is really dope. I'm glad we had this discussion. I think it's gonna be a lot of unpacking from folks. They're gonna have to do some Googling. It's all good though. It's all good. But just wanna, on behalf of the Finartech podcast crew, myself and Yolanda, want to thank you for coming on and give it up for you one more time because that was dope.
Hey, no, give it up for you guys. I love this. This is great with y'all. Yo, Cross on the beat.
So speaking of children, Okiima, you had a little situation with your son in the school, with regards to tech. Tell us a little bit about, what happened with your son in the school system in regards to technology and all that.
Listen, so when my son Zay was in 6th grade, I remember sitting at my desk, got a phone call from the principal. It was like, Miss Pickett, Xavion hacked the computers in the computer lab. So what he did, he drew a picture. He's a little artist. This was in the 6th grade now. He drew a picture and sent it out to all the computers in the computer lab and froze them. So every computer.
Love it.
This is during class time. So he had this image on all the screens just frozen. And the teacher's like, she didn't know what was going on.
Love it.
The principal called and I'm like, lady, this is awesome.
Exactly. You like my baby got skills out here.
Do you want me to discipline him for that's skill? It takes the whole degree to do what he did. Like what in 6th grade? Yeah. So yeah, that was a proud mom moment, but I had to get myself together and like, how did you do that, son?
Teach him like time.
Don't do it again, but just tell me how you did that.
Yeah. Time and place, kids. Time and place.
That's natural. These kids these days got some natural talent. Just got to tap into it and make sure they use it in the right, the right way.
Right, exactly. I love it because that's an example. Like he could have called or demanded money.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Change my grades.
Exactly. Change my grade. Like give me my A in math and my B in science. Or
knowing him, he probably sat there laughing. Like he was something else when he was little. Oh my gosh.
I love it. Good job, Mom. Good job.